China has spent the better part of the last year pumping M4A4 skins. Buzzkill, Coalition, the list goes on. The gun sucked. Pros weren't using it, players weren't using it, nobody was using it. But China didn't care, they pumped it anyway. And that's because they don't trade meta, they trade fundamentals. Now the M4 gets a patch note that will make it see more usage in pro play, and you're rushing to buy A4 skins when every one of them is up 50% today. That's not how you play a patch note. You play the other side. You buy the ones down 20%, down 50%. Because the people dumping their A1S skins right now are making it oh so easier for the Chinese pump groups that were going to buy these M4A1Ss whether they were good or not. And it's just a little bit cheaper now.
And now for our Counter-Strike report. New York's very own Mike Water.
Welcome back to DE News China. I'm your host, Mike Water 9. I guess we're going to have two DE News Chinas this week. This one's a little bit more in-depth, one segment. So here's our thought process for today. Times of uncertainty and volatility, like in the case of a patch note, is going to create for a lot of gaps in the market that wouldn't be seen otherwise. And as we know, this patch just handed us a bunch of them. The market has reacted already. People are freaking the fuck out. In some cases, sure, justified. In some cases, not even a little bit. And things that go up way too fast come down even faster. Always regress to the mean. That is the number one rule of not this market, any market. But some things will regress quicker than others, right? A P2000 in the Revolution case, which is actively dropped, is going to regress much quicker than a P2000 in the Chop Shop collection. If you follow the herd, you are a sheep bitch. You're going to buy the top and you're going to sell the bottom. So let's discuss the facts so you can make some informed decisions on your own without having to watch any YouTube videos in the future. There's one for sure implication of this patch, and it's that the M4A4 is definitely going to see a little bit more market share in terms of the gameplay and in terms of the market. The biggest part I glossed over in the patch notes was the fact that the M4A1-S lost a whole magazine on top of the ammo change that's already hurting it because of its low ammo capacity. This puts the dichotomy of the two guns more so back to where it was in CSGO, although back then the A1S was 2,900, the A4 was 3,100. Now that they're equal price, the M4A4 is relatively a better gun. On top of that, in pro play, it'll probably see even more usage because now the A4 is the only gun that can pretty much be used through smokes reliably, or else you'll lose all of your bullets. So here there'll definitely be some plays. Now the A1S side first, right? The A1S is now going to see less usage, so you should see some play skins go down in price. But the ones with solid fundamentals, right? The ones that were already being pumped, the ones that are in collections that are discontinued and have been discontinued for the better part of a decade, the meta shift isn't going to change any of these, at least in the long to medium term. If anything, like I said before, it hastens the accumulation process. And when retail panic sells, that only signals to pump groups that they have a better control of the supply once they eat that panic sell up, which could mean good things in terms of timelines for price action of these speculated pumps that we've been accumulating in the past. The winter offensive case is still one of the highest movers. So do I have any reason to believe that the M4 Guardian pump is going to stop anytime soon? No, if anything, I'm going to buy another one because it's 50% off right now. Like I said, China didn't give a shit how good the M4A4 was when they pumped those the entirety of 2025. So why would I have any reason to believe their attitude is going to change now when it's the A1S in the same situation? It's easier. But there will be A1Ss that do take hits, such as the Party Animal, the Glitched Paint, especially since we saw those go up in price since they matched a lot of the gloves within the new terminal. But now that their, usage is going to go down, those are going to go down because they're active drops. The e-liquid, ones that don't move much, like the Hot Rod and the Blue Phosphor, well, I can't imagine those going down too much, if at all. Very different demand profile there compared to most of the other guns. Now the A4 side, we've been buying plenty of A4s, so honestly we should have a decent amount in our inventories. I have the Desolate Space, I have the Battle Star, I have a few of the Tooth Fairies, right? These are all from discontinued cases. They all have good fundamentals. They were already in my inventory, and I'm going to sell some of them. Or for one, like I said, all things regress back to the mean. This is going to be a local maximum or the highest price we'll see for, the short term, maybe a month or two. And that's because if I want to play the A4 buff, I'm not going to buy skins that I think are going to get pumped. If anything, the odds of pumps in the M4A4s are going to go down because now you have retail involved, which makes it oh so harder to accumulate. If you want to play the pump and make a profit off of the pump, what you're going to do is buy StatTrak weapons, right? Now, China doesn't pump StatTrak, so a lot of their prices are actually normal relative to the actual regular paint. And that's because China likes to rent skins out a lot, so therefore StatTraks don't really make a difference. And in a lot of cases, stickers block StatTraks, which makes people averse to them beyond the renting feature in China. StatTraks, on the other hand, play more towards NA and EU play skin demand, right? Organic demand independent of pumps, independent of, irregular price movement. So that's global demand. It has nothing to do with China, and the prices right now are lower than where they are usually. Take one look at SteamDT. Every P2000 up this morning is StatTrak, not regular, because no one gives a fuck about pumping P2000s. It's all about the play skin demand. Now, I'll get to the P2000 because I would not buy any of those StatTrak P2000s. But the M4A4s, absolutely. And when you're thinking about play skins, you're thinking about lower tiers, right? I like the M4 Magnesium in StatTrak. It's from the Danger Zone collection, which I'll talk about in a moment. Also, I like the Evil Daimyo that's from the Falchion case, StatTrak Purple. Also, a good play is the one from the Gallery. I believe it's called the Turbine and the Edgelord. This is usage demand, it's not pump demand, so you have to think of these things in two separate ways. Because it has implications on the market in a broad sense, and it also has implications on what the next pump play is going to be. Now, getting to that point, the USP-S and the P2000. The P2000 still sucks. Right, it is seeing a trial period right now compared to the USP, and I do think it will see more usage than what it was beforehand, but I really can't see it being used more than 10% of the time. In pro play, 0. Stop acting like you actually see the end of one mag anyway during your pistol rounds. You suck. One purchase I do like, the USP-S flashback from Danger Zone. The Danger Zone case is seeing quite a bit of accumulation. I noticed it a few days ago when I saw a lot of the knives from these cases being moved up in a very weird way. Short gains like 5 to 10%, but that usually means the case ROI is going up, which makes the knife ROI go up. And while the StatTrak M4 Magnesium posed a good entry because it's StatTrak and people weren't paying attention to that, the USP-S flashback is also a great entry because it's just recently dumped because it's a USP and people don't like this gun all of a sudden. We will see about that. The USP-S is on sale right now, and I bought a fuck ton of USP flashbacks. So not only do we get those two plays, but we also have something to watch over the next few weeks, and I think that is the Danger Zone case. We'll have to wait and see, though. Speaking of getting good entries, get the best entries at UU-Skins, today's sponsor. UU-Skins offers direct marketplace access to China without the use of a VPN or a Chinese bank account. They just launched a new feature called the UU Happy Shop. Use my code, which I will be getting in a few days, when they roll this out, and you'll be able to redeem rewards for using the website. You're already buying skins, so why not get some cash back for it? The link will be in the pinned comment, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. As always, thank you, UU-Skins. I'm glad to be represented by one of the best in the game. As we continue, some more notable patch notes. Another two guns that are receiving a ton of attention right now are the CZ75 and R8 Revolver. Now, I have two CZs that I've spoke about in the past, the Syndicate from the Train 2021 collection and the Emerald from the Chop Shop collection. I'll most likely list the CZ Emerald because that is a definite play skin. Even though it is part of the Chop Shop collection, it does have a pretty shitty float cap of 0 to 0.08, whereas the Syndicate has more fundamentals to grow beyond the CZ. And that's because it's a purple, and Train 2021 trades up to the USP whiteout, and as we talked about before, the Train 2021 supply is a little bit fucky due to how it was redeemed in Operation Riptide. The R8 doesn't have that many great skins. The R8 Fade I have a few of from the trade-up update, and I'll probably sell a few of those into this little hype cycle that it's getting. That gun blows. But one I spoke about a few months ago was the R8 Crimson Web. The reason I like the R8 Crimson Web is because it's from an old case, right? The revolver case, so it'll grow in that, right? But it's also a 0.06 to 0.8 float cap, and while that's extremely hard to get, you can usually trade up to these skins. But the R8 Revolver Crimson Web is a blue, meaning that you cannot trade up to it, and it has a 0.06 to 0.08 float cap, which means getting it in factory new has to be unboxed. So as the revolver case goes up in price over time, less unboxings, thus less R8 Crimson Webs in factory new, right? There's definitely a more outgoing supply of these guns than there is an incoming supply. So keep that in mind. And it was in the top movers as of this morning. And that's because it has great fundamentals. I had meant to buy one from that video that I made, but I haven't, which sucks. But now that it's up, I'm not going to buy it anymore. Now here's some other guns that I don't think people are going to realize the impact of until a little bit later. The first up being the Galil. I think the Galil is not better because of the change. It did receive 50 bullets, but I think it's better because the SMGs got fucked, making the Galil actually viable on second round on T-side. right? We already had the Galil Sandstorm in our inventory, so that one is already pumped to shit, and it's probably going to continue a little bit. But I think it is getting to the point in which it's probably time to sell. I already sold one to get my initial profits back, but this one's running. I'd probably sell it like $60, to be honest. I do also like the Caution from Vertigo 2021, right? It does match those Caution gloves, which just recently got discontinued when the recoil case got removed from the active pools. So that only helps the, thesis there. It matches something. You can have a vibe going with your loadout. This Galil also was pumped back in the day, like early September, August time, 2025. I also have the Galil Tornado. I like this one because it's 0.06 to 0.8 and it's in the Norse collection, which makes that factory new one a great trade-up filler for the people that are in the market for that, and there always is. If that's not your style of gun though, the Rainbow Spoon definitely is a pretty decent play right now, right? It's seen a relative decrease in price over the last week or so because of the new gloves, right? Demand just going everywhere and not focused, totally honed in on the armory. And if the Galil sees more usage, the Galil Rainbow Spoon is going to see more usage. It's definitely a popular, pretty decent looking skin. The gun I'm most excited for is probably the AUG. I think the AUG will probably see a decent amount of usage, right? Because the M4A4 didn't change, the A1-S got worse, which I think just makes the market share in terms of gameplay more suited towards the AUG and M4A4. The AUG is very accurate, which means if you're going to have a problem with this ammo situation, the AUG might benefit you more than the A4. Some ones with good fundamentals. The AUG Sandstorm, which is not how you think it looks. It's from the Mirage 2021 collection, which we've seen accumulation of, so that's a double play right there. The Navy Murano, which is from the Canals collection, right? Just solid fundamentals, discontinued collection, rare collection. The Momentum, which I believe is from Chroma 3, and the Lil Pig, which is from the Graphic Design collection. And lastly, the shotguns. The shotguns should do pretty well here as well. The XM XOXO from Snaky B, that one got a pump because of the recoil case leaving, and now it's going to receive an extra little bit of love because now the shotguns are better, right? They're better because A, they didn't really get hurt, right? The single loaded shotguns, nothing changed with this patch. On top of this, SMGs got way worse pretty much across the board, at least the ones that were viable beforehand, like the MP9, at least the ones that were viable beforehand. So shotguns should see a little bit more usage, right? They still are very situational, so maybe only some maps like Ancient and Cave or Apartment apps on Inferno, but you should expect them to go up. Some XMs beyond the XOXO, the Tranquility, right? Also the Run from Train 2025, right? Like I said with the Galil Rainbow Spoon. The Sawed Off also enjoys the same non-change as well as the Nova because they both act like the XM in terms of reloading. The Sawed Off is in that boat of still sucks, but didn't get hurt by the update, which of course will lead to people pumping the shit out of it for no reason. The Kiss Love from Recoil, which I talked about last week and the week before, it's been enjoying gains because it's 0 to 1, the only one of which within the Recoil case that is a pink. And now it enjoys a second force moving the price upwards, and that is this patch. So if you have one of those, you could probably consider selling because no one's going to use the Sawed Off still. There's no fucking way. The Nova doesn't have too many good play skins. I could see maybe the Nova Bloomstick getting more play in terms of pumps, but in terms of just organic demand, maybe the Blue from Overpass, the worst Hala. The Yorkshire maybe might see some increase, but if anything, that would be a sell signal for me because the Sport and Field, I think, is relatively oversupplied. Even if it gets discontinued, it might hurt the price action long term. So maybe I would get rid of some Yorkshires here. But other than that, the Nova doesn't really scream too many great opportunities. If anything, the shotguns, XM will probably benefit the most. So that's what we're working with. Obviously, with the patch, some guns are going to be overhyped, some guns are going to be underhyped. We just have to, close off, shut our ears off from the noise, and focus on the fundamentals because that's ultimately what will carry us to the promised land, baby. Some guns are actually legitimate now, and if you want to play that, you're going to have to go for StatTraks, I think. I think that's going to be the best play across the board because we're not talking about pump potential here, right? Pump potential comes from guns that are a little bit more illiquid because it's easier to accumulate. Guns that are being bought up by a bunch of players because they want to play with them doesn't bode well for a pump, right? You need guns concentrated in inventories to be pumped. So expect the guns that got pumped. So expect the guns that got a relative buff in this patch to be less of targets now. Right? You may see more A1-S pumps than you do A4s, and it sounds counterintuitive, but not really. If you think about it, the supply is now more easy for Chinese to accumulate. The supply is now easier for China to accumulate as opposed to the A4, which is now flying across the market back and forth now. And when you all dump your A1Ss on the market at the same time, it gives all of those pump groups a much cheaper and easier way to entry right in and grab a decent amount of supply without having to spend anything. And one last thing, if any of the guns that we spoke about today are simultaneously in the armory and got nerfed and saw a price movement downwards, that's double upside. You got the patch pushing prices down, and you've got fundamentals making it trend upwards. And right now the movement downwards is more heavily weighted, but give it 3 days. And then you're gonna have two forces working in the same direction, right? A regression to the mean and an anticipated change in the news cycle, which will subsequently lead to higher prices. So keep on the lookout for those. If the A1S fade goes under $400, I will buy a second one, guaranteed. And as for anything else, we'll cover more on this tomorrow in DE News China, the actual episode, which is a more broad, general one, right? As I said, this one was more focused on the patch itself, but what it means for pumps in general, and we'll see how it manifests tomorrow. As always, peace.